So listen, we don't take any of those experiences for granted at all. I know we get a free T-shirt and a hat, but there's a lot of sweat that goes into this, a lot of effort pushing through things that you normally don't have to push through to get to work, and both mentally and physically.
The T-shirt and the hat are nice. The Super Bowl ring is even better. The Chiefs got theirs a couple of years ago to go with the one they won 50 years earlier in Super Bowl IV, and 8 straight wins now, and they destroyed the Pittsburgh Steelers. You know, the thing about the Steelers, they just have to have everything fall perfectly for them, and it helps to be playing at home if they're going to get a victory. They go on the road lately, and it's just a debacle. They were down 29-0 in the second half against the Vikings a couple of Thursdays ago before the Vikings did what they do whenever they have a big lead. The Chiefs don't do that. The Chiefs took a big lead and turned it into a 36-10 victory. Mahomes with 3 touchdown passes. The Steelers not very good at all. Ben Roethlisberger's clearly coming to an end, but I think that's going to make him even more dangerous these last 2 games against the Browns and the Ravens. But yesterday, they weren't dangerous at all, Mike. I mean, look, it was Kansas City's day. Even without Travis Kelce, who tested positive for COVID and did not qualify to return under the new protocols that supposedly make it easier for guys to come back. Tyreek Hill was able to come back after his positive diagnosis, and the Chiefs made it happen, and they did it on both sides of the ball, and it helped. The Steelers just had one of those days where they show their age and they show how far they have to go from a talent standpoint to get to where they want to be.
Well, I mean, listen, we've talked about Pittsburgh all year. They're a team that just doesn't score. They're averaging 20 points a game. They just can't score enough to stay in games. And when Kansas City starts scoring the way they do, Pittsburgh, you know they're not going to be able to catch up, especially on the road. What is that? The 3 road games, they've trailed by at least 23 points. So they're getting smoked, and they don't have the ability to come back. That's why, this is the farewell tour for Ben, and we'll see where it goes from here, where Kansas City, no Kelce, no problem. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, we'll have to see how his collarbone is. He had to leave that game. They're getting nicked with injuries. And again, remember, it's about attrition and how can you heal up, and then throw in COVID as well on how that's going to affect you. They're playing like we thought they would play because we saw the last 2 years. It took them a little bit to go where all of a sudden people are screaming that Pat Mahomes is broken. The dynasty is over, and it's like, hold on, let's go a few games here. They had a losing record, and all of a sudden 8 straight later, and it's like they're back. They've risen from the dead. They're like the Undertaker in wrestling, and they're here we are, being the top team. And it's like going into next week we're back to where we were at the beginning of the year. It's going to be Kansas City and Buffalo. Who's going to represent out of the AFC? So it kind of blows my mind a little bit, the crazy year that we've had, and throw in COVID to that to make it even crazier, and the ups and downs, and now getting toward the end, we may be right where we all thought we would be in the beginning of the year.
But it is funny as we see this dynamic play out with so many different teams, and the Chiefs are maybe the best example of it now that they've won 8 in a row after they had been left for dead at the bottom of the AFC West, and they were at one point at the bottom of the AFC West. You get these Chiefs fans that get indignant. Oh, you said they weren't good. Well, they weren't good. I mean, what else are we supposed to say? Yes, they could get better, but currently they're not good. Currently, they're in 4th place in the AFC West behind the Broncos, Raiders, and Chargers. They earned their spot. Can they dig out of it? Sure, anyone can. But we focus on what's in front of us. And there were some bad games that were in front of us that we were breaking down on these Monday editions of PFT Live. And the Chiefs weren't playing well. They weren't getting it done. They weren't being patient with the ball. They were still trying to force it down the field, even though the defenses were taking it away. And their defense, at one point, Mike, was historically bad in the yards per play that were being allowed to the opponents. It almost reminds me of what Steve Spagnuolo, the defensive coordinator in Kansas City, once did with the Giants. Remember his first year with the Giants, 2007? His defense was abysmal the first 2 weeks. They figured it out. Oh, they won the Super Bowl that year eventually. But the first couple weeks of the season, they couldn't stop anybody. So, yeah, we know teams get better, teams get worse. but they're the ones who are the authors of their eventual destinies. They're the ones who have to show us what they're going to do. And the Chiefs did it. They turned it around. Good for them. But before those 8 straight wins, there was every reason to ask those questions, and they found a way within themselves to answer them.
Yeah, listen, I agree. I agree, but that's why we wait. And listen, we're in a week-to-week business when we do this. So you talk about what happened in week 1, what happened in week 3, what happened in week 5. I get it. I guess I was more toward the people who were the doomsayers of saying, oh, they're done. You know, whatever run they had is over now. Instead of, okay, yeah, they're playing bad right now, but let's see. You know, where you are in week 3 is not where you are in week 10. And they've been, incredible in showing that and how you can improve. Because now we're looking at who can challenge them. Listen, we know the way this season has gone. Each week you never know what's going to happen. But they're consistently playing good right now. So if they keep doing that, who's the team that can beat them? I mean, are we down where in the NFC we start talking about a deeper conference, but in the AFC, does it go further than Buffalo? When Josh Allen is running and doing his things, I know Cincinnati can put up points, but are we putting them there just yet? I mean, where does it go? Tennessee, we don't know what players they're going to have back, from injury. So where does it go after Buffalo, or does it? Or are we just waiting if these two teams start to play consistently, and you damn well better be by the end of the year. You better be in the mode now where you're playing close to the top of where you're going to play, because this is when you need it the most, right before the playoffs. I mean, after those two teams, I find it hard to believe that a team, again, every game can be a different game, I get it, but from the consistent level, it's tough for me to go past Buffalo to think of what other team can take out Kansas City.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.